everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I promise you guys I am not naked. It is extremely hot today, so I'm just wearing a tube top while filming this video because it is hot as hell on the outside. Oh my god. Anyway, if you happen to be stopping by for the very first time, my name is Donella and this is my little world of makeup right here. And I'm sure you guys can tell from the title of this video that we are going to be fixing a few makeup mistakes during the course of this video. So if you are interested in learning some of the mistakes, the very common mistakes that you yourself may be making and how to fix those, then please stay tuned. Alright, so let's just jump straight into this. Now, one of the most common mistakes that we make whenever we are applying makeup is by applying the makeup all over our face at once and trying to blend the left side, the right side, and the forehead all at once. Now, this is going to make your foundation look extremely splotchy, and it's also going to make your makeup look uneven. Now, when I say uneven, it means that you might possibly apply more foundation on this side versus this side. So it's always a good idea. Here's one fix to it. It's always a good idea to just simply start from one side of your face with, let's say, one pump, so that way you know that it's evenly distributed over on both sides of your face and there's some sort of balance. And of course, you know, whenever you're using a beauty blender, you always want to go around in very tiny circular motions, and this is going to help to allow your foundation to not only smooth out but to also lay perfectly over your very smooth canvas. All right, now that we have our foundation on, let's move on to highlighting. Now, here's another common mistake that a lot of us make without even noticing what we're doing. It really has to do with the way that we apply our highlight or under eye concealer in this direction. Now, whenever you're applying your under eye concealer, you really want to apply it in what we call a triangular motion, basically. Even if you do downward swipes, that's fine. But when you do your foundation, whenever you apply your concealer like this, what we call like a moon direction, what it does is that it clumps all the concealer in one particular area, and then that is going to age you. That's going to make you look way older than you actually look. So let me just take my concealer one. Let me try to bring this down a little bit. So what you really want to do is apply your concealer, your under eye concealer, your highlight, whatever you want to call it, in a triangular shape, and of course all the other areas that you want to highlight. I call this like the peacock motion that I do on my forehead, and then this one right here on my chin is just like a downward swipe. Move on to contour, and one very common mistake that a lot of us make, I have to confess that I used to do this too, is by applying the contour stick, cream, powder, whatever you want to call it, in the hollow area of our cheeks. Now, I just learned this couple months ago from celebrity makeup artist Patrick Ta. 3 to 2 months ago, I was watching one of his tutorials on Nick's site, and I was like, what? I've been doing this thing wrong all along. Now, what he said is that whenever you're applying your contour cream, the best way to get the most out of it is by applying it on the highest point of your cheek, like right here where you would normally apply your highlight and blush. This is where you need to apply it. And then usually I just put like 2 strokes right here, and you do the same thing on the left side. Now, what he said and what I've been doing and what I learned, now whenever you do this, whenever you apply the contour here, what you're doing basically is giving your face somewhat of a lift. It's almost like a makeup facelift basically. So you blend it backwards like how you normally would whenever you apply your contour cream, powder, whatever you want to call it. And then of course, you know, you blend out the bit that you have on your forehead, and you do that all the way around to the next side. You blend it downwards first, that's what he said, and then backwards, so that you're basically giving yourself like a facelift. So that's one of the common mistakes that we've all been doing for quite some time. I have to admit I've been doing it too, but after watching that video with Patrick Ta, I'm like, look, I'm never getting my contour ever making a mistake with my contour ever again. Another common mistake that a lot of us make is by using a translucent powder that is way too light for our skin's complexion. Like for instance, you guys already know that I have golden / warm undertone. The type of translucent powders that I would reach for is something like this. You know, the Sasha Buttercup powder is like a yellow powder. Anything that has golden, warmth, yellow, whatever you want to call it, are the types of translucent powders that I would reach for. Of course, you know, if you have red, cool, or even neutral undertones, of course your translucent powder would have a very different shade range, which is why I respect Rihanna when she recently released those instant retouch powder. You guys can see that there was a whole shade range, and it's really because, you know, there's no one translucent powder, there's no one universal translucent powder that's going to work for everybody. Everybody has a different undertone, so you know, of course you're gonna need something. Like for instance, me, I always look for something that has in yellow. Anything that has in yellow, I know I have golden / warm undertones, so I'm going to be reaching for something like that. Another common mistake that I see a lot of us doing is overusing our bronzers, especially this. I know this is probably one of the most popular bronzers on the market, like in terms of a drugstore brand. There are some persons who really overuse this product, and you walk around looking like some radish or tomato or something like tomato. What's the difference? You know, whenever you're using something that has like a really warm red undertone, something that's like this, especially if you're using something that's much darker than your skin's complexion, like for instance, say you fall somewhere between the medium skin tone, like a medium skin tone, kind of like a Eva Marcel. You know, she's kind of like a, yeah, she's a good, yeah, like a Eva Marcel. If you're going to be applying something like this, there's no way you should be going in as heavy as somebody like me. Now I'm much darker, so you expect me to use much more in order for it to show up on my skin. Even me, I actually think that this shows up like really intense on my skin tone, and I'm much darker than, so for instance, the example that I used, Eva Marcel. So if you're going in with a bronzer that has a really warm / red on, like a, when I say warm, I mean like a reddish undertone, you really want to use a really light hand, because you could end up looking like a red. Common makeup mistake that a lot of us do, and in my early days of makeup I used to do this too, is failing to actually clean up the fallout that may have fallen on our natural lashes. You know, whenever you apply your eyeshadow and you have a bit of fallout, the best way to clean it up is by actually, you know, pulling out whatever you can with your natural nails. These are my natural nails, okay? And because you really don't want to mess up your eyeshadow application, what you can do is just by simply applying one coat of mascara, and that should actually clean up whatever little mess may have fallen on your natural lashes, and then you can just go ahead and apply your falsie. Another common makeup mistake, and I really wanted to talk about this while I was applying my lashes, but they got the best of me. I was kind of, you know, enchanted by them. I'm wearing my Lash Couture lashes in Showstopper. What I wanted to point out is that a lot of us would actually reapply our lashes before removing the excess or the dry or the leftover glue that was on them previously. And I'm not sure if that's a thing, because I've never heard of it personally, but for me, I remember there was one time I was in a rush, and even though I was in a rush, I had to literally stay there and peel them off. Like I stuck the lashes on because I was in a rush, but when I got to the event, I actually took my glue and my tweezers to the event and I removed the lashes, because it felt weird, number one, and then I felt like I was seeing the excess glue whenever I look up or whenever I look cross or in front. I just felt like the excess glue was blurring my vision. I don't know how people could do that. I have to remove the excess glue. So that's a very common mistake that a lot of us make. So I don't know, if you want a smoother application, if you want your lashes to last longer, because the glue actually damages the lash over time if you leave it there, the isopropyl alcohol is a good way to remove it. Just soak the lash in there for about 2 minutes, and then you're just gonna see the glue just lifting up easily, and then you could just peel it off with a tweezer, or even with your natural finger, just peel it off. Common mistake that a lot of us do, I don't recall ever doing this, but I might have, I don't recall, is by applying our contour, our blush, and our highlight in 3 different places. Now, ma'am, Miss Ma'am, your blush, contour, and your highlight are basically supposed to be in the same area. What they're really supposed to do is complement each other. So you guys already know where I've placed my contour, and I'm using a cream blush. So what I'm going to do is just basically brush my blush. I got it right this time, in that same area where I applied my contour, and then shortly after I will be applying my highlight. Now this cream blush is really intense, and I don't really want to put too much of it on, so that's enough for me. And then I'm going to move on to highlight. I'm going to choose whichever highlight. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to choose a highlight, so give me a second. All right, so I'm back, and I am going to be using the shade Double Take, and I think I might actually put another highlight over this because this one goes on a little bit powdery. Yeah, this one goes on a little bit powdery. The formula for this one is different from the other Artist Couture Diamond Glow powders that I have, and not that I dislike it. I love the fact that it has this like pinky purpley iridescent type of look to it. I absolutely love it, but sometimes I feel like it needs to be kicked up. So what I normally do whenever I wear Double Take, I would put just a little bit of Conceited over it, and Conceited is like a true golden yellow highlight from Artist Couture, and that's one of my favorite ones. Like when I first started using highlight from Artist Couture, I used to use that every single time I applied it my makeup. Actually, you know what, I'm not going to be using Conceited. I think I'm going to take a small bit of my Spotlight Glitz, and I'm just going to rub it right here. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh girl, wow, that really pump it up. Wow, that's pretty. I did not know this. Okay, this is probably my favorite. It's gonna be one of my favorite combos from now on. Double Take and what is this called? The Spotlight Glitz. I'm just giving myself a little bit of Rihanna. This is how Rihanna does a highlight. She always has that little highlight thing going on right there, and I'm just like, ooh girl, better put that down before you use all of it. This is probably one of the highest ranking makeup mistakes that I see all the time, and every time I see it, it grinds my gears. Now, why would you think, maybe if you're my shade, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shades darker than me, would you think it's okay to wear, you know, shades like these on your lip without lining them? That's a no-no. If you're a dark skin girl, if you're a chocolate skin girl, if you have all that melanin, you know, like me, or maybe a little bit darker, it's not okay for you to wear a nude lipstick without actually applying a lip liner, because, you know, it just looks weird. It looks off. So we are going to apply a lip liner, and then we are going to apply our nude lipsticks. Now that we have our liner on, we don't leave it like this, okay? What we do is that we take our finger and use it basically as a brush to blend that liner in with your lips. And then we're gonna take our nude lippies. This one is actually from Neutrogena. This is from Neutrogena. This is one of their Hydra Boost Hydrating Lip Shines, and I'm just going to apply it. This one is called Berry Brown. It's actually a really cute pinky brown. I absolutely love it. I think it's really cute. And we've got nude lippy. Now this is actually a lip shine. Persons can get away with not wearing a lip liner, but because I think I'm going to look really ridiculous without a lip liner, I love to apply a lip liner before I apply this particular shade, because it's a nude shade, and it's not really like a black girl or a melanin girl's type of nude shade, but I love the color, so I'm okay with wearing a lip liner, and I'm good. One final mistake that I want to point out, and this is actually not a makeup mistake, this is just a mistake in general. Some persons, whenever they're done applying their makeup, they would forget to clean the edges of their hair. Now it's fine, because it happens to me as well. When I say it happens to me, I mean whenever I'm applying my bronzer, because you know you want to go as close as possible to your hairline. Whenever you're applying your contour and your bronzer, you want to go as close as possible to your hairline so you don't see that weird line of demarcation. That's completely fine. but we're going to learn to clean the edges of our hair, to take off that excess makeup that might have gone up in our little edges. We're going to learn to clean that off. So that's not a makeup mistake, but that is a request, because that's just something that we should be practicing. We should be practicing cleaning up our edges and making sure our edges are laid and smooth and all that. And gents, so we have come to the end of this video. Hopefully you guys may have learned a little tip here or there. If you did, please be sure to drop me a comment down in the comment section. And also, if you happen to have enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up on the way out. And also, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please be sure to click the subscribe button somewhere down here. I think it's on this side. Yeah. On your way out. Thank you guys so much for being here on this upload, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye bye.